So if you want to increase your butt's power, you got to put something in it. This paper's garbage. This paper is garbage. Michael. It's my favorite time, everybody. So if you weren't here yesterday, you don't know the conversation that we had that led to this paper. Thank you once again to ARC for finding this. I'm gonna put this on screen so you get a vibe for what's going on here. And you can just look at it for a little bit, get your thoughts together. And then we're gonna start on this magical adventure together. Welcome to Scuffed Science Sundays. I'm your host, Pomatomaster, and today we're going to be covering a very, it's a very clench-worthy paper, you know? So yesterday, I had the question of Kegels are a thing, right? Can you also do the same thing for your booty hole? Huh? And has it been measured? And the answer is yes. Now, again, I do think the science here is sound. I am not getting the vibes immediately from this that this is a bad paper, but it is something I would never think of. Exercises involving pelvic floor muscles include repetitive voluntary contractions of external anal sphincter, EAS, musculature, have been used to improve fecal incontinence. See, I didn't know this. So the answer to, are there Kegels for your asshole, is yes. Apparently, if you do clenching exercises, you can stop incontinence, which again, I never knew that. I had never even heard of that before. Muscle fatigue is a prerequisite for successful strength training. However, muscle fatigue induced by these exercises has not been systematically studied. We aim to assess the fatigability of EAS muscles during various exercise methods. 12 nulliparous women were God damn it, were studied. We evaluated fatigue during 40 repetitive 3-second contractions and 30-second long squeeze contractions, both with and without an intra-anal compressible resistant load. So they took 12 women and they had them do the equivalent of Kegels with their butt, and then they put something up their butt to measure it. Oh, this was not a good, oh man. Imagine signing on to this. I mean, good for them, I guess, but how do you, so I'm assuming there were women that already had to do these exercises for potential incontinence already, and they must have recruited them like in the doctor's office, right? Because I don't know how else you would recruit it. Again, these are the differences between good and bad papers. Now, mind you, 12 people is not a lot of people for this, but I'm assuming they're just testing out this device and that you'd have to do more studies later, right? But they are talking about what these acronyms mean. Like, that's a good sign, right? In conclusion, repetitive contractions against a compressible load induce fatigue and thus have the potential to strengthen the anal sphincter contractile function than contractions without a load. Fatigue rates in long squeeze contraction exercises with a load is significantly faster than without a load, so also indicating greater effectiveness in inducing muscle fatigue. So I think this is saying that if you are pushing against something, it actually helps. But if you're just squeezing for the sake of squeezing, it's not doing as much. So if you want to increase your butt's power, you got to put something in it and then squeeze. If you ever go to the hospital because you've accidentally stuck something up your butt, you can just tell them, no, this wasn't a sex thing. I just wanted to increase my anal sphincter pressure. Yeah. This is what the device looks like, by the way. They just put balloons up people's asses. It's not exactly the most fancy thing in the world. I'm guessing it's like a tire pump where it's like really malleable to begin with, but then you fill it with air and it gets like harder. There's a similar prevalence of fecal incontinence in men and women reported by some studies. A number of exercises involving various pelvic floor muscles, including repetitive voluntary contractions of the external anal sphincter muscles, such as Kegel exercises, have been clinically used to improve FI. I guess my question here is, if they figured out how to increase potentially the strength of your butthole, is there a world record of like the world's strongest butthole? And if not, is that title up for grabs? This is a crazy sentence, by the way. It's correct, but A potential shortcoming of Kegel exercises is the emphasis on muscle strengthening by squeezing the anal sphincter muscles without involving resistance training. Oh my god. How could we have forgotten resistance training? This is very important. When John Kegel came up with the Kegel, who came up with the Kegel, by the way? Actually, that actually might be a guy's name. Oh my god, I wasn't even wrong. It's not John Kegel. It's Arnold Kegel. Oh my god, his middle name is Henry. Oh, he literally is like, ayo, clench. It's a good idea, I promise you. Thus far, there is no study to document neuromuscular fatigue during anal sphincter resistance training. That's a line for you. Anal sphincter resistance training, chat.
Ew! Ew! What the fuck?
So, randomization by flipping a coin, accommodation for 5 minutes. They flip coin. They either have to have something up butt or nothing up butt. Or did they have something up their butt, but then they just didn't pressurize it? Anal balloon placed and inflated. Long squeeze contractions, 40 short repetitive squeeze contractions. Deflate balloon and resting period of 8 minutes. Inflate balloon and repeat above. Long and short squeeze contractions, deflate and remove anal balloon, rest for 8 minutes. Followed by either with load or with no load exercises depending on what was done first. Okay, so everyone had to do this. No one got away with not doing this. I'm not going through whether or not this data is good or not. It would just be me reading this like, but this was fun, right? Now you know that you too can actually increase the strength of your anal sphincter by putting something up your butt and squeezing on it. You can also measure the strength of the contraction with devices. This is what the journal is this? So, in part 1 of Scuff Science Sunday, we learned that, yes, you can train your anal muscles to be stronger by putting something up your butt and doing resistance training, unironically. Now we're going to go into this. That was actually good research and had a lot to do with incontinence and other actually useful things. This looks like garbage. What they fucking doing in Taiwan, dude? This research unveils the possibility of a salmon sperm formula called DNA drink for anti-aging and anti-oxidation. That's not how that fucking works. What do you mean anti-aging? What do you mean DNA drink? Are we supposed to be drinking this? How does that make any fucking sense? Oh, dude, I hate the cosmetics and I hate the supplement industry. I hate the cosmetic industry. Okay. The applications of salmon sperm have been rarely reported in scientific investigations if compared with salmon roe. But salmon sperm also contains copious nucleotides. Our experiments confirm that the DNA drink could enhance the antioxidant ability and improve the expression levels of aging-related genes in peripheral blood mononuclear cells. These results suggest the potential of salmon sperm for boosting cell vitality and protecting cells from oxidative damage. What do you mean improve the expression levels? Oh, that's such a vague term, man. I hate words. Like, does it increase? Does it decrease their expression? Expression, by the way, I'm going to try to break this down. Expression means whether or not the gene is actually, something is happening with it, right? Like if copies of the gene are being made, if it's being turned into product in your body, right? This looks like a dog shit journal. I'm just telling you right now, the Journal of Food and Nutrition Research, this does not look very good. So, problem, even if just dunking nucleotides could somehow assist with aging, how do you deliver that? So they're talking about when they expose peripheral blood mononuclear cells, PBMCs, to this, that it changes the expression levels of certain genes. So it makes certain genes turn on or turn off, right? How do you get the salmon sperm to your blood? You're not injecting it. Putting it on your face does not mean it's getting into your blood. And by the way, there are a total of 2 figures. And they're both fucking bar graphs. This is not great, right? Oh, sorry, there's 3. Sorry, there's 3. My bad. This does not fix the telomere issue at all. Aging is the consequence of physiopathological and progressive deterioration. With the passage of time and the damages from chronic oxidative stress will hasten the aging process due in part to the impact on the regulatory systems, example, endocrine and immune systems. So again, your body starts breaking down, right? Oxidative stress is associated with internal and external stressors. Example, mitochondrial leak, UV radiation, cigarette smoking, etc. Accordingly, certain reactive oxygen species expression is correlated with aging, inflammatory response, and the occurrence of chronic diseases. That makes sense because it's associated with damage in general. Dietary nucleotide supplements are identified as an effective means to alleviate the inflammatory process, oxidative damage, carcinogenic activity, and the aging process, along with restoring energy from fatigue. I don't think so, buddy. Nope. What do you mean, dietary nucleotide supplements? That's what you mean. You eat the nucleotides and it stops all of these things. What the f do you mean? How? Through what mechanism is that happening? That's like if you misspell something in your book and someone just tells you, oh, you can just fix it by adding more words. Okay, this is a big question mark. Okay, so if I was reading through this paper, that is the first thing I would fact check because that seems like a fucking reach. So again, this is how you read a paper chat. You go, you see their sources, and you see what they're saying, and you see if they have any conflict of interest because let's see if I can find one of these real quick. The fact that two of these are done by like the same lab, relatively close together, does not bode well. Okay, I did just have a jump scare there. I want you to, like, I think I'm a child, everybody. I want you to look at the last author. I misread that. I misread that. That's crazy, dude. Apart from pure nucleotides, fish roe egg may be an alternative route to nucleotide sources. A study reported that salmon roe can enhance type 1 collagen production over 125% and inhibit antioxidant genes in human fibroblasts. These evidences imply that dietary nucleotide supplements have the potential to ameliorate the skin conditions and delay the aging process. This seems like a jump, a lot of jumps. And delaying the aging process is a crazy leap. Saying that salmon roe can inhibit these genes does not mean you are delaying the aging process, right? You are inhibiting genes from being expressed. It does not mean that you have stopped aging in its entirety or delayed it. You don't know that. To the best of our knowledge, few research groups unveil the salmon sperm as a nucleotide alternative substitution with respect to the utility in anti-aging or anti-inflammation. In this research, we try to investigate such possibilities through using a salmon sperm formula, DNA drink, to evaluate the expression levels of reactive oxygen species and aging-related genes in these red blood cells, right? They were peripheral blood mononuclear cells. We discovered that DNA drink could substantially enhance these genes' expression levels at lower reactive oxygen species levels, which reveals the hope to extend cell lifespan. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to extend the cellular lifespan? That sounds like cancer to me. Oh. DNA drink, Melagene Plus drink, ingredients, salmon sperm extract, yeast powder, brown rice fermented powder, algal snow fungus extract. Whoa, wait a second. Wait, pause. Wait a second. How do you know that the salmon sperm extract is the thing that is like reducing the reactive oxygen species production when you have 3,000 things in your DNA drink? Besides salmon sperm extract, you also have yeast powder, brown rice fermented powder, algal docosahexaenoic acid, snow fungus extract, citric acid monohydrate, pectin, pear juice, fructose water, plum apple vegetable flavors, and potassium sorbate. You have 10 other fucking ingredients in there. What the fuck is the control? It was just growth media. Damn, that's crazy. That's just really bad science. How are you going to... Bro, that's insane. This is like taking a bunch of shit, putting it into a blender, and then adding in a single cherry tomato, and then someone drinks it and vomits, and you say, ah, you see, the reason they vomited is because of that cherry tomato. This paper's garbage. This paper is garbage. Now here's the problem. It's not just that this is a supremely paper that was in fact published, okay? The problem is there are repercussions to this. We only know about this because of this. This is the only reason we know about this, is because they post articles like that, and then it's picked up by traditional regular media who either have no scientific or they do and they don't care. Well, that is the end of a supremely spermy Scuffed Science Sunday. I hope you enjoyed. All I know is I will not be injecting salmon sperm into my face. And remember, if you see an article, especially an article talking about something new in the skincare industry or the supplement industry, you might want to double check or run the sources by a friend that's in science to help you out. Oh, Jesus Christ.